Welcome back to the channel JF Coin everyone. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating coins that millions of people overlook every day, the legendary 1-cent 1988 Lincoln penny with the words "In God We Trust" and United States of America. A small copper-colored coin that many people ignore, but collectors know that sometimes even the smallest coin can hide a surprising story and sometimes even a surprising fortune. Imagine opening your pocket change and discovering that a simple 1-cent coin might actually be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more depending on its condition, rarity, and minting errors. Today we will explore the incredible history, design, minting process, rare varieties, and the real market value behind the famous 1988 Lincoln penny. And by the end of this video you might want to check every coin in your wallet because one of them could be a hidden treasure. The story of the Lincoln penny begins more than a century ago. The United States first introduced the Lincoln cent in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first American circulating coin to feature a real historical person on its design. Before that, U.S. coins usually displayed symbolic figures such as Lady Liberty. The Lincoln penny became one of the most recognizable coins in American history, and it has remained in circulation for generations. By the time the year 1988 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already been circulating for nearly 8 decades and had become a daily part of American life. The 1988 penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial series that was minted from 1959 until 2008. On the front of the coin you can see the detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head appears the famous national motto "In God We Trust." To the left side you will see the word Liberty, and on the right side is the year of minting, which in this case is 1988. Just below the year you may notice a small letter D. That tiny letter is known as the mint mark, and it tells us that this coin was produced at the Denver Mint in the United States. On the reverse side of the coin you will see the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C. Above the memorial are the words United States of America, and just below it the phrase E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. At the bottom of the coin you will see the denomination 1 cent. This design remained the standard reverse for almost 50 years and is one of the most recognized coin designs in the world. Now let's talk about how many of these coins were actually produced. The 1988 Lincoln penny had a massive mintage of more than 5 billion coins produced at the Denver Mint. That means millions of these coins entered circulation and were used in everyday transactions across the United States. Because of this large production number, most 1988 pennies are very common today, and in normal circulated condition they are usually worth only their face value of 1 cent. However, coin collecting is not only about the year or the design. The real value of a coin often depends on its condition and its rarity. Coins are graded using a professional scale that ranges from heavily circulated coins to perfect mint condition coins known as mint state. A regular 1988 penny that is worn from circulation is typically worth only 1 cent, but a coin in extremely high mint state condition can sell for a few dollars or even more to collectors. But the most exciting part of coin collecting is finding mint errors or rare varieties. Sometimes during the minting process mistakes happen. These mistakes can create unique coins that collectors are willing to pay much higher prices for. The 1988 Lincoln penny is known for several interesting error varieties that have attracted the attention of coin hunters around the world. One of the most famous varieties is known as the 1988 wide AM penny. On the reverse side of most Lincoln pennies the letters A and M in the word America are very close together. But on the wide AM variety those letters are spaced noticeably farther apart. This happened when a reverse die intended for proof coins was accidentally used on regular circulation coins. When collectors discovered this unusual detail they quickly realized that these coins were much rarer than normal pennies. Some examples of the wide AM variety have sold for hundreds or even over $1,000 depending on their condition. Another interesting variety is known as the flare G error. If you examine the reverse of the coin near the Lincoln Memorial you will see the designer's initials FG, which stand for Frank Gasparo, the designer of the reverse. On some 1988 coins the letter G appears longer or slightly curved compared to normal coins. This variation occurred because a different reverse die design was accidentally used. Collectors search carefully for this detail because it can make a coin significantly more valuable. There is also the famous doubled die error. A doubled die occurs when the coin die receives multiple impressions during the manufacturing process, causing certain letters or numbers to appear doubled. On some 1988 pennies, you can see doubling in the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." When this type of error is strong and clearly visible, it can increase the value of the coin dramatically. Depending on the strength of the doubling and the coin's grade, some doubled die coins can sell for dozens or even hundreds of dollars. Another type of minting mistake is the off-center strike error. This occurs when the blank coin planchet is not perfectly aligned when the coin is struck by the dies. As a result, part of the design is missing and the coin appears shifted to one side. Off-center coins can be very appealing to collectors because the mistake is easy to see with the naked eye. Some off-center 1988 pennies have sold for more than $100 depending on how dramatic the error is. There are also clipped planchet errors where a small section of the coin is missing because the metal blank was cut incorrectly before striking. These unusual shapes make the coin look very different from normal coins, and collectors often pay a premium for them. Another fascinating error found on some 1988 pennies is known as the doubled ear variety. On these coins you can see a clear doubling effect on Abraham Lincoln's earlobe. This happens when the die strikes the coin more than once with slight movement between strikes. Some high-grade examples of the doubled ear variety have sold for thousands of dollars at auctions because of their rarity and strong visual appeal. When collectors search for valuable coins, they also pay close attention to the color of the coin. Lincoln cents are often classified as brown, red-brown, or full red depending on how much original copper color remains. Coins that still have their bright red mint luster are much more valuable than dark brown coins that have been heavily circulated. Professional coin grading services such as PCGS or NGC can certify a coin's authenticity and grade. Once a coin receives a high grade from a respected grading service, its value in the collector market often increases dramatically because buyers trust the certification. Now you might be wondering if a 1988 D penny could really be worth thousands or even millions of dollars. In reality, most coins from this year are common and worth only a few cents to a few dollars depending on condition. Some rare era varieties can sell for hundreds or even a few $1,000s if they are in excellent condition and properly authenticated. However, the excitement of coin collecting comes from the possibility that rare mistakes can appear in everyday pocket change. Many collectors have discovered valuable coins while searching through rolls of pennies from banks or old jars of coins stored in drawers and closets. Every year, people around the world continue to search for rare Lincoln cents, hoping to discover the next valuable variety. So, how can you check if your 1988 penny might be valuable? First, look for the small D mint mark under the date, which indicates the coin was minted in Denver. Next, examine the reverse side carefully and look at the spacing between the letters A and M in America. If the spacing appears wide, you may have discovered the wide AM variety. Then check the FG initials near the Lincoln Memorial to see if the letter G looks flared or unusual. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" for signs of doubling. Also check Lincoln's ear carefully for the doubled ear variety. Look for off-center strikes, clipped edges, or other unusual features that might indicate a minting error. Even small differences can sometimes mean the coin is worth far more than its face value. Coin collecting is not only about money but also about history. Every coin tells a story about the time when it was produced. The 1988 Lincoln penny represents a period in American history when billions of coins were produced to support everyday commerce. It reflects the long legacy of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected presidents in American history, whose portrait has appeared on the penny for more than a century. For many collectors, the thrill comes from the hunt. Searching through coins, discovering small variations, learning about minting techniques, and understanding the history behind each coin can be incredibly rewarding. Even if you never find a coin worth thousands of dollars, the knowledge and excitement of coin collecting can be a fascinating hobby. So, the next time you Today we are exploring the mysterious and valuable story of the 2000 Lincoln penny, a coin that carries the words "In God We Trust" and United States of America, and yet could potentially turn a single penny into a life-changing discovery. Many people see pennies as worthless spare change, but the truth is that some rare varieties and mint errors of the 2000 Lincoln cent have sold for hundreds, thousands, and even tens of thousands of dollars depending on their condition and rarity. This video will uncover the hidden history, design, minting process, rare varieties, and the shocking market value of this modern coin that might still be hiding in circulation right now. The story of this coin begins with one of the most famous figures in American history, the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor Lincoln's 100th birthday, and it became the first regular United States coin to feature a real historical person instead of symbolic figures. Over the decades, the design changed several times, but the Lincoln portrait remained the central image. By the year 2000, the penny still carried the Lincoln Memorial reverse design that had been used since 1959. The front of the coin shows Lincoln facing right with the word Liberty on the left side and the date on the right side. Above Lincoln's head are the famous words "In God We Trust," a phrase that reflects the historical motto used on many American coins. The reverse side displays the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C., along with the words "United States of America" and 1 cent. Above the memorial appears the Latin phrase "E pluribus unum," which means "out of many one," symbolizing the unity of the states. Victor David Brenner designed the famous Lincoln portrait, while the memorial reverse was created by Frank Gasparo, two artists whose designs shaped one of the longest-running coin series in American history. The year 2000 was a special time in world history because it marked the beginning of a new millennium. People around the world were celebrating the arrival of the year 2000, and the United States Mint produced billions of pennies during this time. In fact, more than 5.5 billion pennies were minted in Philadelphia and more than 8.7 billion were minted in Denver that year, making the coin extremely common in everyday circulation. The coin itself is made from copper-plated zinc and weighs about 2.5 grams with a diameter of approximately 19 millimeters. On the surface, this might sound like a very ordinary coin because billions were produced, but the coin collecting world knows that rarity is not always about how many coins were made. Sometimes rarity comes from mistakes, mint errors, unusual varieties, or extremely high-quality examples that survived in perfect condition. One of the most fascinating varieties of the 2000 Lincoln penny is known among collectors as the wide AM variety. To understand this variety, you must look closely at the word America on the reverse of the coin. On most pennies, the letters A and M are very close together, but on the wide AM variety there is a noticeable gap between those two letters. This happened because a proof reverse die was mistakenly used during the minting process. When this unusual die was used on regular circulation coins, it created a rare variety that collectors quickly noticed. In average condition, this coin might sell for $10 or more, but in perfect mint state condition the price can rise dramatically into the hundreds of dollars depending on grading and color quality. Another interesting version of the 2000 penny is known as the Cheerios cent. Around the year 2000, a promotional campaign placed special coins inside boxes of Cheerios cereal as part of a celebration of the new millennium. Millions of these coins were distributed, but some collectors discovered that certain Cheerios cents had a slightly different reverse design detail. These subtle design differences created a collectible variety that can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in high grades depending on the coin's condition and certification. Beyond varieties, mint errors are one of the biggest reasons a modern penny can become extremely valuable. Mint errors happen when something unusual occurs during the coin striking process. Sometimes the wrong metal blank is used, sometimes the coin is struck off-center, and sometimes the design is accidentally doubled or distorted. In extremely rare cases, a penny may even be struck on a blank meant for another coin such as a quarter or a dollar. When this happens, the result can be a dramatic and unusual coin that collectors are willing to pay huge amounts of money for. Some rare 2000 penny mint errors have sold for thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars depending on their uniqueness and preservation. Imagine holding a penny that looks slightly different from the rest. Maybe it has an unusual color, maybe the design appears doubled, or maybe the letters look strange. Many collectors spend years searching through rolls of pennies from banks hoping to find one of these rare treasures hiding among ordinary coins. This activity is called coin roll hunting, and it has become extremely popular among collectors and YouTube creators. People open hundreds or even thousands of rolls of pennies searching for rare varieties and errors that could turn pocket change into a valuable collectible. Another factor that can make a 2000 Lincoln penny valuable is its condition. Coins are graded on a scale that measures how well preserved they are. A coin that has circulated for years may show scratches, discoloration, or worn details and is usually worth only face value. However, a coin that remains in perfect mint condition with bright red copper color can be worth significantly more. High-grade coins that receive professional certification from grading companies are especially valuable because collectors trust the accuracy of their evaluation. Some extremely high-grade 2000 pennies have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars simply because they survived in nearly flawless condition, while billions of others became worn in circulation. But what about the claims that a 2000 Lincoln penny could be worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars? Stories like these often appear online and they create excitement among collectors and treasure hunters. While most 2000 pennies are worth only 1 cent, the possibility of a rare mint error or extraordinary variety keeps collectors searching. The coin collecting market has shown many times that unusual coins can sell for surprising amounts of money when collectors compete at auctions. Rare errors, unique experimental pieces, or coins with dramatic minting mistakes can reach incredible prices if only a few examples exist. The thrill of coin collecting comes from this sense of discovery. Every coin tells a story about history, economics, art, and manufacturing. The 2000 Lincoln penny represents the start of a new millennium, the continuation of a century-old coin design, and the possibility that even modern pocket change can hide rare treasures. For collectors, the excitement is not just about money but also about the history behind the coin. Holding a coin minted in the year 2000 is like holding a small piece of the moment when the world stepped into a new century. Another fascinating aspect of the penny is how it reflects changes in society and economics. Over the years, the purchasing power of a single cent has declined dramatically, and some experts have even debated whether the penny should continue to exist. Despite these debates, the Lincoln cent remains one of the most recognized coins in the world, and billions of them are still circulating in everyday transactions. For collectors, this means there are still countless opportunities to discover rare varieties hiding in plain sight. If you want to search for a valuable 2000 Lincoln penny, there are a few things you should always check. Look closely at the letters in the word America on the reverse to see if you have the wide AM variety. Examine the coin carefully for doubling in the date or the word Liberty. Check the color of the coin because bright red uncirculated examples are usually more valuable than dark brown circulated ones. Pay attention to unusual weight or color differences that might suggest the coin was struck on the wrong metal blank. And most importantly, never clean your coins because cleaning can destroy their value in the collector market. Collectors also recommend using magnification tools such as a jeweler's loupe or microscope when inspecting coins. Small details that are invisible to the naked eye can reveal rare varieties or mint errors. Even the spacing between letters or tiny doubling on numbers can make the difference between an ordinary coin and a valuable collectible. Another important step is professional grading. If you believe you have found a rare coin, it may be worth submitting it to a professional grading service where experts will evaluate its authenticity and condition. Certified coins often sell for higher prices because buyers trust the official grading and protection provided by the sealed holder. The market for rare coins continues